Hello, welcome. In today's video, we are going to be trying out 2 of the new products Lethal launched on Black Friday. We are going to be testing out the Metamorphosis palette, which looks like this. So absolutely gorgeous. And also a brand new product to their line, this brush set. I did also get the Evergreen palette. Of course, that video will be coming tomorrow, but this is what she looks like. Absolutely stunning. You're not going to want to miss that one. So if you want to see swatches of the Metamorphosis palette and see how it performs, or you want to get all the details on the brushes, or both, then you are in the right place. But first, if we haven't met before, hello, my name is Sherry. Welcome to Makeup Therapy. It's a place where makeup enthusiasts like myself just like to relax, unwind, and take our mind off of everything else, just for a little while, by playing with and talking about makeup together. I especially love playing with new makeup and new brushes. If that is something you love too, then subscribe for more. Oh, yikes. It is my first time barefaced on camera, and I gotta tell you, I am not a fan. Not a fan. But I'm doing it for you, okay? So I'm not trying to scare you away or anything, and be nice. Okay, thanks. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I cannot even tell you how excited I am to finally play with this palette. I have been using this for a bit now. I've used every single shade in the palette, and let me tell you, you're not ready for this. And I did also purchase the Evergreen palette, and the video on that will be going up tomorrow. That one might be even more surprising than this one. I don't know. They're both very special. Obviously, we also have this brush set, which, listen, I am a bit of a hoarder, over-purchaser of brushes. I love using a lot of different brushes in my look for different functions, for different types of blends. I like having different shapes for different things. That will help me get the best application. I just love them. I love brushes. And because I've bought and tried about a bajillion brushes, I feel like I have a good idea of the kind of brushes that work well and which do not. I have also played with these brushes quite a bit already, so I do have a good feeling for them, and I have a lot to tell you. Okay, but first let's go ahead and get started with some swatches. I'm just going to be focusing on the performance of the shadows, not on the look itself. I will have a creative look using this palette coming up soon, in the future, soon. I have a lot of stuff coming up that were Black Friday releases, and I want to get up the swatches and testing out those palettes as soon as possible for you, and then the creative looks to see what they can do are going to be going up later. So I really want to focus on showing you the shades that I think you might be surprised by, either ones that don't show up the same as they do in the pan, or I don't know, like I think you might want to see this bright orange in action, maybe. But yeah, I want to show you kind of the special shades in here, because we all know what like matte neutrals look like, and most mattes in particular, but we'll try out some of the deeper shades in here, see how they blend, see how everything builds on each other, see if they get patchy, and all of that good stuff. And of course, we will be testing out the brushes. I'll be using all of the eye brushes for the eye look, and then we will do base and the base brushes at the end. So these are the eye brushes that we're going to be working with. We have 3 kind of blending brushes, we have a couple packing brushes, and then we have a pencil detail brush and a very tiny little detail brush, and then we have 2 different kinds of liner brushes. So these are the ones that we're going to use in the look. I'm going to try to do things where we can use all of these. So like I said, it's not about the look, and it may not exactly be cohesive because we're focused on trying out the shades and the brushes. Okay, so to start off, I am going to be using the red and the orange. We'll deepen it up with this deep burgundy here, and then we'll pick out our shimmers. My only kind of complaint with these blending brushes are, look at my eye here. I have pretty small eyes and my eyes are hooded. So these brushes are kind of a bit big for me to do crease work, but we're gonna do what we can with these. I am actually gonna be starting off with the tapered blending brush, and I'm gonna start off with the red in here, and then we're gonna kind of transition into the orange. I have already primed with my Natasha Denona eye base. This is blending out really nicely. As you can probably see, we are getting, it's not so much a true red because we are getting pink when we blend that out. Just something to be aware of. But wow, it's blending really, really smoothly and really nicely. One thing I do want to say, I think it probably comes into play a little more for base, but these brushes feel amazing on the skin. And really, usually, unless they are like scratchy or pokey, I don't notice how they feel on the skin, but these feel really nice, really, really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the orange and blend those in together. These both fade out so nicely. You get a nice gradient there. You don't even have to blend these out with anything like a transition shade or anything. They do that all on their own, which is always nice. Let's see if we can build these up a little bit to get a little darker. Oh yeah, that orange is so pretty and it's a very vibrant. Okay, so this is, I didn't say it before, I should have. This is the 210 blending brush, and Lethal pretty much says that there are 3 blending brushes in the set because you can never have enough blending brushes, which I 1000% agree with. But they come in varying degrees of stiffness and different shapes, so you get a different kind of blend with each of them, which I would say is mostly true. Now I am going to take this larger smudge brush, shading brush, sorry, this is the 215 shading brush, which is mostly to pack darker shades on the outer corner. So that is of course what we're going to use it for. Actually, let me put some more red in there and see how this builds on top of that red. Okay, so I'm just taking the deep burgundy shade. These palettes do not have numbers or names in them. They are on the box, so I don't know what it's called, but this one is the deepest shade right here. I mean, you can't ask for better performance than this. It went on so well, not even a hint of a struggle with building it on top of that red. Absolutely gorgeous and very rich color. I'm gonna take this through, crease a little bit. It's kind of a shame that sometimes their mattes don't necessarily swatch the best, but that is no indication of the performance on the eyes because these go on beautifully. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for the mattes. For the lid anyway. These worked perfectly. No complaints here whatsoever. Okay, let's go ahead and do the lower lash line. I'm going to use the 220 pencil brush for that. This is really nice for precise application, and you can also blend out eyeliner with this, which I have done. I put some liquid black liner, or not liquid, gel, the Inglot pot liner under my lower lash line and have blended that out with some of the shades, and that worked beautifully. I'm pretty impressed with how well it blended out the black liner. It looked really nice and smudged and did not look patchy or anything. It was beautiful. I did get the teeniest bit of fallout. It's not terrible, and since I don't have a base on yet, it's gonna be super easy to clean it up. I'm gonna go ahead and take that same deep burgundy that we used in the outer corner there, and I'm gonna put that close to the lash line. This is nice that it can really be precise up under the lash line, so it's not blown out too much unless you want to do that, but you can get it pretty tight under there. That is great. Just trying to get in my divot here. Okay. I always have a problem with that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and blend that out with the orange so we can see how well this kind of blends. A lot of pencil brushes will put it on just fine, but when it comes to blending, it doesn't do a great job, but this one is definitely, like, it has plenty of give in it, so it makes it a great little detail blending brush as well. And had some red on my finger. Gosh darn it. Story of my life. Okay, I like that a lot. Yeah, this blended wonderfully. Okay, on to the shimmers. Now, we are going to use this brush here for the shimmers. This is the 225 packing brush, which is for metallic eyeshadows specifically. He said it perfectly picks up all kinds of metallics and multichromes and transfers them precisely onto the lid. This is a great brush for their metallics and they're like maybe even smoother multichromes. It has a lot of different length hairs on it, if you can see that, which means it's very grabby and it will actually grab hold of those metallics and shimmers and multichromes. I'm going to start with the deeper one down here, which I'll show you the finger swatches in a second, but we're going to put this one in and then this one. Okay, so the darker one looks like this. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it definitely has some orange in there and some pink. And then we have this peachy one, which definitely looks corally, peachy, pinky. Oh, and then they're both showing up here, pink. Let's see how they show up on the lid. That deeper shade, like, I wish I could get it to show up good. That has the most stunning pink to orange shift on it. It's gorgeous. Okay, while I was playing around with these on my own, I did notice that the majority of the shades did look best with the NYX glitter primer, so that is what I'm going to go ahead and use. Some of these actually looked better dry. They looked much more shimmery and special when they were dry, so kind of play around with that if you get this so you can see what you think, how you think it looks better with what base, because yeah, it really shocked me that some of these really looked nicer without any spraying or glitter primer. Okay, got that down. Pick this up. It picks up wonderfully on this brush. Okay. I see almost all pink on my lid, like magenta pink. Just going to kind of take it at an angle here, hopefully give the other shadow enough room to show that off. Okay, let's grab that one, this lighter one. And again, for me, looking in the mirror, I see pink, which is trippy, because that is not what they look like in the pan. But they do have that gorgeous shift. For the inner corner, I am going to use this teeny tiny detail brush, the 230 detail brush. They said this is the smaller sibling of the packing brush, dense and precise, perfect for the under eye area. If you wanted to, I guess, be super duper precise, I'm going to use this though for my inner corner. And I don't have any glitter primer down there, so I'm going to have to spray it. I'm going to use the same shade we used here, which we'll see how it shows up in the corner. I am interested to see this. There, okay. So can you see there where it looks actually peachy? This works wonderfully in the inner corner. This is a perfect brush for that. That is great. Okay, I was trying to figure out which one of these I wanted to put over a black liner, so I did some swatches on a black base. So this one down here is on the bottom. Look at that. It is definitely green in there. Then the second one is this one that's supposed to be like a peachy pink. That one is in the center, showing up very, very pink. And the crazy thing, this latest one that looks yellow, that's on the top. Look how green that looks. Okay, but I'm going to show you, I think I did get it to come up, to show up in the mirror. Hold on, let me get, look at that. So it's crazy that that one in the corner, that yellow kind of iridescent one, is actually showing up purple and blue and green in the shift. Now you can see that middle one, that's that peachy next to the yellow. That one's kind of showing finally that peachy shift. And then we have green and purple in that, you know, darker one down here. Play around with these on different types of bases. They are stunning. They are actually stunning. Okay, I think I'm actually going to do this one, even though, wow, it shows up green in the pan. Looking at, these are trippy. These are trippy. I want to see how that would look on a black liner. So I'm going to go ahead and do a liner here, or like a kind of like a wing, but not a wing because I have hooded eyes. You know what I mean? Well, maybe we'll just go ahead and do a big giant wing, and then we'll get a bigger surface area to test that out on. And of course I am going to use the liner brush here. This is the angled liner brush, the 235, which Lethal just says is amazing for precise eyeliner application. So let's see if that's true. I am going to use my Inglot black liner because it's reliable and it's really good, and we will know that it is not a liner if things don't work out well. But I mean, I did already use all of these, so it is definitely going to be my application if anything goes wrong. Not the fault of the brush, but here we go. I don't like doing winged liners. Okay. It skipped a little bit there. Again, that's me. Look at that nice thin line you get there. I'm definitely gonna have to go back and forth to fix the shape of this. I would say that is pretty nice and precise. All right, I'm actually gonna go back to this detail brush that I used in my inner corner, and I'm gonna use that to fill this in, and then I will probably also use it to put the shimmer on top. This is nice and small, really even get right up in that corner to fill in the liner, and right up in there. Not bad at all. Like I said, I mean, my application's not great, but the brush is really nice and precise. I'm gonna let this dry down, and then we'll put the shimmer on and finish this and try out some more on the other side. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use this little detail brush again. It may not look like it, but I did clean it off with some Cinema Secrets. Did I say this already? I might have, but I'm gonna try this one on the black wing. What are you seeing? I'm seeing straight up green, which is crazy because this is this shade up here, which is like a magenta, bright pink. Okay. I love the shade. Don't know that it goes with this, even though it's the same shade on the lid. Isn't that crazy? Wow. That could not be more different than this. You can really tell the two different shifts in there. That is really cool looking. Okay, liner brush, detail brush, good. Both good. I'm just gonna finish this off super simply, just with some liners and mascara, and we'll move on to this side. Okay, I finished off this look, which I just used some Tarte Sex Kitten black liner to tightline the top. I used this ColourPop cream gel liner because I wanted to bring that corally color in, even though we didn't get it's not showing up in the shimmers. I think this is the shade Puppy or Poppy or Puppy. I don't know which. I think it says Puppy, but Poppy would make more sense, wouldn't it? Whatever. Anyway, this is what I used. And I used this Lawless The One and Done mascara. I just got this in my BoxyCharm, and let me tell you, I think this might be a new favorite. I think it might be. I really like it, but I'm concerned what it does throughout the day when it dries down, so I kind of want to see what happens when I have it on for longer than just playing around with it. All right, moving on to the other eye and some more shades. I've got it primed with Natasha Denona. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use the big blending brush. This one is the... Actually, no, I'm going to go ahead and use this angled one first. This is the 205 angled shading brush. Reading it in my mirror backwards because I can see it better that way. Okay, I am going to take our grungy green here and stamp that on the corner and then pull it through the crease. I really want to see how it does at stamping. Ooh, really good. Okay, good. I'm just gonna turn it a little bit and pull it through the crease. These bigger fluffy brushes are great for just stamping it and it blends itself. And these angled brushes are really nice for getting right in the outer corner. And then you can flip it upside down to get a more precise brush tip, kind of, to pull it through the crease. You can buff the edges out with it. I really do like angled brushes. This one's pretty nice. It's a little bigger than the ones I normally use, but it still gets the job done. I'm just gonna keep stamping. I kind of want to see how deep this green gets because I don't want to have to use something to deepen it up. I'm actually gonna pull this green in quite a bit further than I normally would because there is a shimmer I want to put over the top of it, partly. All right. That's a that's a beautiful shade. I do love my grungies, grungy greens. That brush worked really nicely. It was able to build this green up really nicely too by just stamping it a few times. I always like the shape that these give. It makes getting the shape really easy. So yeah, I like this. I like this one. I like this shade too. Now next, let's go ahead and take that big old blending brush. This is the 200 diffusing. I'm looking at it backwards. It's diffusing brush. So I'm just gonna blend out the edges with this one because it's just supposed to diffuse. So let's see how it does at that department. I think maybe I am going to pull that green out a little more because I kind of want to see how it really like gives a really nice blend this way outwards for those kind of more creative hold out looks. I like to do those quite a bit, so I want to see how that does diffusing it outwards. That's where I would really use a bigger blending brush like that. So let's see. If you go in with a really light hand, look at that. Look at how gorgeous that blend is. That did an awesome job. I wasn't really getting it closer in here, I think just because my eyes are just too small for this big of a brush. But when we pulled it out and had a little more space, that diffused it perfectly. I'm actually, for the heck of it, going to take this neutral-ish shade here, and I'm going to blend the green out with that. That did a great job. All right. This neutral shade I think is actually a great addition to this palette because you can blend out some of these deeper shades, or any of the shades, not just the deeper ones, because a lot of these don't have a lighter shade to blend it out with in the same color. That worked really well. So now on to the shimmers. Actually, I almost forgot. I am going to do a cut crease, and I'm going to do it with this tiny little detail brush because I want to see how this does for that. I just got these reusable things from Essence. These are more, this one's more rubbery, but like a Q-tip end, something to clean up your lines with. But we have this pointier one. I'm gonna see if this is gonna be any good for kind of cleaning up the lid before putting down the cut crease stuff. Oh yeah, they said to wet it. Let me do that quick. So I just wet this down a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect. I'm gonna blend this one in a little bit because I am taking that shimmer over it. So I don't want a harsh line underneath there. And that is why I'm not cutting my crease in that area either. But I am going to kind of bring that through here, and we're going to do a little fun graphic liner moment to see how this pointy liner brush does. Okay, for this I'm going to use this Revolution cut crease canvas. It's white. I'm going to put some on the back of my hand and grab our little flat detailer brush here. I did try this out already beforehand, so I knew it was going to work, but I really think that this little brush, even though it's, well, maybe it is because it's rounded, I think it gives me a much better line than a liner brush. I think it works better than a liner brush for this, or a like cut crease brush or concealer brush kind of thing. I'm kind of missing a bigger flat brush in this set though. I feel like it could definitely use it. Since there's not one, I am not going to use this to fill in the whole thing. I am going to try to fix this line here though. I think for out there I am going to use the angled one. I did clean it off. That is definitely a little thicker than I would like it. That's because of the other one I think is going to give us a little bit of a thicker line. I'm just going to use this elf flat one to finish the rest, or to fill this in. I don't have the patience to do it all with a teeny tiny little brush. One trick I've found, which I don't know, maybe everybody knows this and just I didn't, if I put it on like this side, I will wipe off the other side and apply it with the cut crease canvas or the eye primer, whatever you use, towards the bottom. So that should help us get a cleaner line on the top as it's facing down. So any of that excess or anything like that should be going down instead of up, ruining the line of our cut crease. All right, before I do the shimmer on the bottom and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and do the liner. I'm going to do this first so that if I mess up at all, I can fix it underneath. I'm actually going to use this Revolution and Grinch liquid eyeshadow. I had a different one I wanted to use, but I cannot find it. So I'm going to go ahead and use the pointed liner brush, which Lethal says this is the brush they actually worked on the longest. Unbelievably precise. And they drew inspiration from fine arts brushes, which, I mean, I think you can really tell. It does have a really precise tip on it. They're saying maybe the most precise liner brush out there. I don't know about that. Maybe it's just like how fat it is up here that's kind of throwing me off. But it does have a very nice tip on it, so let's give it a whirl. Okay, I'm just gonna take it right off of the little paddle here. This is really weird. It is like a plastic paddle. Here we go. So far, so good. I don't want to have too much further down on the fatter end. I want to keep it at the point so that it doesn't get bigger than I want it. Oh no, see? Oh, I screwed up. I'm going to take it on this liner brush for out here, I think. Okay, not bad. It did a great job up here, and then I think I started to get a little overconfident, and it was because I was not holding the brush correctly, and it got a little out of hand over here, but this is great. Oh, there we go again. See, I gotta learn how to hold it correctly. Going in the direction you want to go instead of trying to do it this way. If you do it this way, that's where it gets too thick. And that is why I do it first, because now we can kind of cover that up with some shimmer and you never know I messed up. But the brush was great. I think first I'm just gonna do this one dry. I think this might have been one of the ones that looked better dry. Wow, and definitely to kind of mix it in with the green. So this is what it looks like over the green. You can really see the green shift in it. And this is, sorry, I didn't even show you, but this the one I'm using is this one. Look how green it looks over that green. It is so cool. Okay, maybe I'm gonna wet it for the front half, and then you can kind of see the difference in texture, and then I'll go up and get right up onto that line to fix that. So I'm just gonna spray it. By the way, this brush to pick these metallics up is awesome. It is so good for that. I am gonna get more of this because I know I have tons of brushes shaped like this, but I think this one is kind of special because there's so many different lengths, so it really grabs onto it well. Okay, we still have the green shift up here too. Not as intense though as over the green back there. That's kind of crazy, but wow, look how beautiful that shade is. Yeah, that is intense. Ooh, that is gorgeous. I'm gonna take the little bitty detail brush and get right up in there and see if I can do something about that line. This isn't the detail brush, but I think I'm gonna take this one anyway. Okay, I'm definitely gonna spray it for this to make it more opaque. And while I'm here, I'm gonna pop that in the inner corner as well. This is a perfect brush for that inner corner. Okay, now on top of that, I'm gonna put this glitter liner because I want to. Kind of gives it a little more sparkle, conceals the mistakes a little bit. Okay, let's move on to the lower lash line. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Inglot. I'm gonna put it on with the angled liner brush, and then I'm gonna smudge it out with this pencil brush so you can actually see what it's like. I'm gonna go ahead and put a liner on up here as well, because otherwise I think it'll look weird. So back to this brush. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a thin line of that under my lower lash line. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use the pencil brush to smudge that out. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna take this big diffuser and run that under here. I'm a little weirded out by this shade here. Like, what is going on with that? Because every time I put it on, it looks shiny. I don't know if you can see that, but like, is this the satiny shade? I don't think so. Maybe it is though. There's like a little shine in there, which is really weird. Maybe it's just because of the texture, my texture on my eyes. I don't know. So with this gold shade, I think that what you see is what you get with that. It is just a very intense gold. And I think I kind of want to put some of that somewhere. Lower lash line maybe. Since my liner brush is full of black liner, I'm just going to take the detail brush. Give it some sparkle. I did not spray it or anything, which means it's probably going to be everywhere. But that is such a pretty shade. Let me go ahead and add more, but spray it this time. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off, and then we can move on to the base and base brushes. Yay!
Who's excited?
I'm excited.
Okay, I'm back. I finished it off. I used this Dear Midnight liner to tightline the top lid. This is really nice. I got this, it's a duo. I think it comes with a liquid liner as well. I got it from BoxyCharm. It's really nice. It's actually really, really nice. Now the waterline, I used this one from ColourPop, and I think it's called Aglow. So I thought I was going to get this color, but it turns out it's a duochrome. It's green and gold. And what I see is gold. I don't think I knew that this was a duochrome. Pretty though. Really nice. Okay, I used the Makeup Revolution Game of Thrones mascara. This is probably going to be reserved for those times where I do lashes and I just want to coat mine to stick them to the false lashes, because this did not do much for my lashes at all. Not great. Not great, but I'll have a use for it anyway, using it with falsies. That's everything with that, so I can use these base brushes. Okay, let's get into the base. We're starting with the foundation, and we do have this really unique foundation brush. This is the 120 foundation brush. Lethal says this is a more dense brush, but the individual hairs are still soft. The density comes from the number of hairs, not their firmness, and it has a special V cut, which allows it to perfectly follow the contours of your face. I'm going to be using a foundation that is good but not great. That's going to be the Beauty Blender one. I shouldn't say it's not great. The other times I've applied it, it wasn't great, but I've used it with this brush, and you will see. Okay, let's get started on the base here. I'm gonna take some and smear it on, and then we're gonna blend it out with this. I don't know how well you can see this, but this looks like my skin, which the other times I've applied this with other things, it did not look like this. This is so good. That blended it out absolutely beautifully. There's no patchiness, no streakiness. It's really nice. And look how nicely it gets around the mouth. I usually use a different brush for my nose because I have a lot of big pores there. And I don't know about you, but I've never had great luck putting foundation on my nose. It doesn't look great. This brush though, I don't have to get another one out. It's small enough to fit, you know, in those little nooks and crannies. And I don't have to use a different brush for my nose because it covers really nicely. Touching it though does not help. Yeah, really nice. Really, really nice. Then the really nice thing too, this you can use to get right around your eyebrows, right around your eye makeup. I do have some shaped kind like this with the V shape, but they're not this small. They're much bigger. Like here's my KVD Beauty one. This is much smaller than that. I also have a Sigma one shaped like this, but it's probably about this size. So this is a nice small one, and you can get right up to your brows, right under your makeup, your eye makeup. Whoa! Oh my god! I just noticed how ghostly pale this makes me look. In my mirror, it does not look like that. Just on screen, I guess. Holy smokes. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna bronze it up anyway. Wow! Pasty pale. And I thought I could not get any paler. Okay. But it looks beautiful. It looks like my skin. Kind of want to build this up a little bit. Okay. It doesn't want to build. That's the foundation though, not the brush. Actually, I think this brush just whipped it into shape because now it's fine. It was initially looking really gross and patchy and like it was lifting off what was underneath it, but now it's fine. Okay. This brush out here performing miracles. Wow. But yeah, it looks like my skin. If I were dead, maybe. It does not. I think it oxidized in the other direction because it's not. It is not this pale. That's nuts. It just looks that way on camera. I swear it does not look like this in real life. Anyway, I am going to put some concealer on and I will be back because there is not a concealer brush. I forgot to show you, but these are the face brushes. So we have a bronzer, highlighter, big old powder brush, contour, and blush. At least that's what are labeled as. Of course, you can use them however you want. Okay, concealer is on. Now, okay, next up, contour with our contour brush here. This is the 110. Lethal says this is a little more dense for greater precision, but is still soft enough that you can use it to apply and blend in one go. I am going to use this Cali contour from Smashbox. This palette looks like this. I just got it. I haven't used it before, so hopefully it works well. Just to be safe, I'm gonna tap some off on my hand. I think I'm safe to add a little more. Okay, that applied really nicely. I usually take the tip. I'm going to take the excess off, and then I'm just going to try to blend this out and see how it does here. That worked beautifully. Ooh, yeah, that worked really, really nicely. I think it did a beautiful job blending the brush. Contoured is really nice as well. Okay, we like that. The other thing I think this would be really nice for with this V shape is to use it for cream contour. Really nice and precise for that. I think I'm gonna give that a go next time. Around the forehead here. Okay, can confirm this does an excellent job blending, and it is super soft. Yeah, I like this one a lot. Of course, I have like a million shapes like these, but I don't usually use them for this because I don't love them, but this one is really nice. I do think it is a little different than its counterparts. All right, cool. Let's move on to bronzing. I love this shape of this bronzing brush. It is tapered here to get right on there. This, oh, it's so soft. It feels so nice. Ooh, I love this one. I'm going to tap it off a little first. Okay. Oh, wow. That went on beautifully. I'm just kind of flipping it over to the clean side to blend it a little bit. Ooh, I like that a lot. Did a great job. I mean, I'm not surprised because I did use these before, but you kind of forget. It's really nice too, the way that it's shaped, that you can flip it around to kind of buff it out with a clean side. That's nice. And just because I'm so freaking pale, now that there's hardly anything left, I'm just gonna kind of take this up and around. Oh, this is so nice. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I love this brush. Next, the blush brush. This is a 115. I love the shape of this one a little bit longer here because I really like to do this thing with my blush. So this is a perfect shape for me. Lethal says this is a softer brush for the perfect blend, and it is very soft. And I also kind of like to get my blush up in here a little bit. That's perfect shape for that. It's not too big, but yet it's not too small where it's going to take forever to apply. There's also a blush in this palette. It's pretty neutral blush. I don't know, might just blend right into the contour, but I mean, the bronzer. Okay, let's give it a try. This applies it beautifully. Applies beautifully, blends beautifully, so soft. Again, it feels so good on this again. I realize that probably sounds weird, but and it's weird to say because like I said, like I have never really noticed on my skin. Yeah, touching them and stuff, you notice how soft they are, but I usually don't notice what it feels like on my skin unless it's pokey or scratchy. This just diffuses it beautifully. Now I'm gonna do my little from the temple here. That did a beautiful job. Yeah, that's nice. I really like all of these so far. Powder. Next up is powder. For powder, I am going to use this Be Perfect Lockdown in CC2. This one is not a translucent powder, so maybe that'll give me a little color too. Now, I just use finishing powder. I don't bake or set. I just like to brush it over just to melt things together, make it look more blended and diffused. Maybe pat a little extra in my T-zone. I love this powder so much. This brush too is perfect. Like it's dense enough that I can, you know, pack it in my T-zone, but it is so light and fluffy and soft to be able to really be gentle and pick up the right amount. It is really, really nice. And also, like the rest of them, extremely soft. Last but not least is highlighter. Because we're pretty neutral, I'm gonna use the ColourPop Seismic Super Shock highlighter. I hesitated because the Super Shock formula is like very squishy, but I think let's just see. Let's just see how well it picks something like this up. So this is such a cute little fan brush. This is the 125, ideally sized for precise application on your cheekbones, but also the bridge of your nose and your brow bones. I have been liking the shape of a highlight brush lately. Spectrum Collections has ones like this, and then there's this. This isn't exactly the same. This is from the Sigma and Samantha Ravindal set. This one is more shaped like a fan. This one's more like seashell shaped kind of, but I've really been liking these. Let's see how it picks up this kind of creamy Super Shock formula. So I always like to put it on the highest point, and then from there kind of make it radiate out from there. I would take a little and kind of drag it on the top of the cheekbone. I don't know, is it showing up at all? Let me see. Let me see. I don't know. Well, let me do the other side and we'll see. I know I haven't tried this brush with this formula yet. I mean, something's going on. You can see there is stuff going on. This would probably be my cup of tea for the nose because I don't usually highlight there. Tip of the nose, brow bone. So with this Super Shock formula, I think all it's picking up are like the glitter specks. Let me try something else. Something less creamy and something not like glittery. Wait a minute. I have a highlighter right here in this palette, and this one is pretty smooth. All right, let's use this one. Okay. Ooh, that picked up a lot. You can really see it on there now. Okay. Oh, wow. All right, yeah. Okay. I think it's probably safe to say that it works great, except for Super Shock. But I mean, I did question that because it is a creamy, like putty formula, and this is, you know, pretty soft and flimsy. It makes sense that it wouldn't pick up too well, a creamy formula like that. Okay, I think we're done. That is every brush. We did it. We used every single one of them. Let's wrap this up. Okay, let's talk about the palette first. This Metamorphosis palette, this Fiery Dream. This palette is amazing. It is gorgeous. The mattes are buttery and so pigmented, and they're incredible to work with. They blend beautifully, just like all of Lethal's shadows do. The like duochromes and multichromes and just those shimmery, metallic, gorgeous. See, I can't even find the words. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to play with this again later when we do kind of like a more creative look. This is a fave. I absolutely love this. Let's talk about the brushes now. As you probably heard as I went on, I adore these brushes. And like I said, I have a ton of brushes. So many. There are some really, really nice, like this shader brush for the metallics and duochromes, and fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love how this shader brush is longer and not as stubby. This is absolutely perfect for the outer corner. It is perfect for under the eye. It is amazing. And if you're like me and sometimes you want to blend like multiple shades, this is great for blending them together because it's not too big. You have so much more control. This brush is amazing. I'm gonna buy 10 more. This liner brush is nice. It is not my favorite. It's not my all-time favorite. It's not the thinnest. It's fine. I could do without, I'm not going to buy extras of these. I may end up buying one more whole set though, because I do want multiples of most of these. This one's good. It's nice. It's not special. I don't think it is super fine, but it's nice. Yeah. Okay, this pencil brush, this is really nice. Pencil brushes usually don't have as much give to them. They're usually stiffer, which really kind of hinders the blending ability on it. This one is great. Really love this brush. I will say all three of the blending brushes, for looks like these, kind of more simple where I'm not using a ton of shades, they're fine. Anything more than that though, they're too big. This regular like round blending brush, this will be really nice for me to do blend out kind of like those more blown out looks on the edges. That's gonna be great. This is probably out of these three, probably gonna use this one the most. I do really like this angle brush though. It did such a good job stamping it in there, and it did really give me a great shape right off the bat. So yeah, these are great. I have no complaints about them as far as the quality and the blending capabilities. Really, really nice. They're just a little bit too big for my eyes specifically. I would love to see them come out with blending brushes for smaller / hooded eyes. That would be fantastic. This liner brush I really like. Again, not my all-time favorite one, but I do like it. I do like it a lot. It doesn't flay out on you, which is wonderful. Some of them tend to do that. This does maintain a pretty nice point. My problem with it though is how thick it gets down here, because, you know, having something just at a little bit more of an angle could completely mess up what you're trying to do. So for that reason, not exactly my favorite, but still really solid. Let's move on to the face brushes. For me, there's not a bad brush in the bunch. These are wonderful. This, please send more. I need, not send more, I'd have to, you know what I mean. I'm gonna get more of these. These are wonderful, especially, I mean, I am absolutely shocked at how well this did on my nose area. My nose is so hard to cover. I don't know why, but it is. And this brush does a beautiful job. It's great for getting in those nooks and crannies. I love this brush. And the fact that it took a not super great foundation and made it look great, that's a feat. That is a feat. And it really did a great job with that. So this one, another one, I'm gonna need a bunch more of. The contour brush, I don't, like I mentioned before, I don't typically actually use these kind of brushes for contour, even though, I mean, I know that's what they're for, but they typically don't tend to work great for me. This one though, with how dense it is, worked great. And it blended out absolutely beautifully. I do love this one. This will be getting a lot of use. Same with this bronzer brush. I thought this was gonna be too big at first, but I mean, it seems like it would be, but the shape of it, like you can use just this little, you know, part here or here. I love the shape of this brush. I love how it feels. It blends so nicely. Love, 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 love this brush. Blush brush, same thing. Gets exactly where I want it right here because I really like to get kind of close to the eye in that area. Still does really well doing this. It is nice and soft. You can really get a soft blend on it. Beautiful. I love, 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 love this brush. This powder brush is amazing. A lot of brushes that I have this size are a little bit more dense, which I don't like because I do like to use just finishing powder. So I don't want it using too much powder or kind of dragging my finished bronzer and stuff around. I don't like it when they are too dense when they're this big because, like I said, I just use finishing powders. I don't set and things like that. So for me, this brush is perfect because it has plenty of give to give you a really, really nice just kind of wash of powder. I love it. Love it. And like I was saying, I really have been enjoying this shape for my highlighters. I really liked this one. I know before when I used it, it worked wonderfully. Not great with putty type formulas, obviously, as we saw, but anything else, I think, yeah, it's really, really nice. I love this one too. So to wrap that all up, the brushes are amazing. I would 1000% recommend the brushes. I think they are great. I think that if you got these, you would not be disappointed in them. And I do want to mention, I think I totally forgot to talk about this, but you can buy them in the big set. You can buy all 15 brushes plus the box that it comes in, which gives you 2 like brush holders, and they're nice and sturdy. They're not like cheap cardboard. It's nice. I probably will use these for brush holders. You can get the whole set for $146, which is 20% less than if you bought them like individually, but you can buy them individually, which is great. So if there are only a couple that you want to try, or a couple that you want extras of, like me, you can get them individually and they are so reasonably priced. These, I mean, you guys, I have some pricey brushes, okay? These are so reasonable. The eye brushes are, let me look before I screw this up. All of the eye brushes are only $9.50 each. And the face brushes are all $13.50 except for this brush, which is $15.50 US dollars, in case you were wondering. That's a steal. That's a straight up steal. If you think about, you're getting 15, if you buy the set, it's 15 brushes for $146. That's less than 10 bucks per brush. And for the quality of these, I mean, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. That's an incredible price. So I think you should run out and get these before Lethal realizes what they have on their hands and jacks the prices up, because these are great and so reasonably priced. 110%. Definitely recommend them. And the palette, obviously the Evergreen palette is going to be the same quality. That video is coming tomorrow. Don't forget, if there are some shades in there that you want to check out and see how they perform, that will be up tomorrow. But love the palettes too. Lethal never disappoints in their palettes. They are extraordinary. For more Lethal Cosmetics content, check out my Lethal playlist next. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the